coming. The family, as we said,
oh
they
wow,
have been the ones
here they
that
are,
been, responsible for funding today. They're making sure that this could go ahead smoothly. It's been an important moment for them to come back and for Ozzy to be able to. They're not describing this as a sort of funeral procession. They want this to be one final tour for Ozzy of the city, is how they're putting it.
Much for that. We can now see the cortege approaching down the street in the centre of Birmingham. And you can hear the strains of Boston brass. This is the musicians. These are the musicians that are accompanying the hearse as it makes its very, very slow procession down through the centre of the city. The family are there. You can see a number of vehicles in there. Let's just pause and listen to this as it comes closer to us.
Wow, this is wild. Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps, man. Surreal. Crazy. Unbelievable. Woo. There he is. Ozzy, the purple flowers. There's a bouquet in the back. Wow. Crazy. I'm just bringing it back a little bit. I just want to bring it back real quick. You know? It's very sad. Just so I could pause it right here. So you see they have Ozzy with the purple flowers right there. Can you guys hear me well and the visuals? Okay, hit 1, 2, 3 in the chat if you can hear everything. Just so we can get an idea of what, like, just see everything. It's unreal, you know. We would think that I know me. I always felt Ozzy's gonna live forever, and I know he will through his music, but just never thought this day would come where he would actually pass away. And since I would watch him since I was a kid, I always thought to myself, Ozzy's not gonna live another 5, 10 years, and I've been thinking that for decades. And the day has come, you know. It's unbelievable. It's very sad. Very, very sad. Rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne. Sheesh. Yes, Breakfast with Delzy's back, baby. Sadly. So I don't know if there's gonna be an actual broadcast of the funeral. I'm gonna look more into it. Wow. Extremely sad.
But you hear the crowds cheering and clapping as the hearse came by. The hearse itself, purple flowers on the top, the word Ozzy picked out and flowers on the side, and a single white hand-tied bunch of flowers at the back of the coffin. I'm joined in the studio by Paul Stokes, music journalist, and as we
Bring this. So this is a new view now, maybe.
here from this point down to the Black Sabbath Bridge, and that's where a lot of people have gathered here today. We think it might pause there, the cortege.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just shows the many lives of Ozzy Osbourne. You know, rock icon, reality TV star. You know, the whole thing with Ozfest, which made him a huge player in terms of global live music, promoting young metal bands coming through, young rock bands. He's had that thing, and then also the unique thing I think about Ozzy Osbourne is
they're doing Crazy Train now.
Prince Darkness, but he also gave across this really approachable, down to earth sort of personality, and it was amazing that you could be. Like as we saw right at the end at Aston Villa, be an icon.
So wild to me.
Approachable sort of guy. And I think that you can see people have responded to that today.
Let's listen to the band again as they come past.
I can't believe it, man. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Oh, okay, they're on the bridge. Right?
We were expecting that this might happen. The family, we think, are getting out here at the Black Sabbath Bridge to take a look at some of the flowers and the tributes that have been left to Ozzy Osbourne. Also, perhaps to engage with...
This is my Ozzy Osbourne tattoo I got done the other day. I've got a bat on my hand for Ozzy. Oh, there's Sharon.
And there, Sharon. Sharon Osbourne, his wife, was his tour manager. Helped by her daughter, Kelly.
Unreal.
And son Jack also, and other daughter, Amy.
Very sad. Mm. Wow.
The family taking some time to look at some of the tributes that are on the flowers, and also to be greeted and comforted by the mayor of Birmingham there also.
Sheesh. Ella writes heartbreaking. Oh man, look at the family. There's Sid Wilson in the back holding his son, who just proposed to Kelly Osbourne in front of Ozzy.
Sharon Osbourne there. Funeral difficult at the best of times.
Sid Wilson from
But
Slipknot.
Compounded with the adulation from the crowds must make it incredibly emotional.
I bet with Sharon. Poor Kelly. This has got to be really rough. And Jack. You know, it's wild to think too. Like, I know I haven't lost my dad, but I lost my mom, and it was so difficult. And there was so many people around, you know. But imagine this amount of people around. You're grieving. This is your parents, husband, in the case of Sharon, and you have thousands and thousands of people around. I know they're used to all the people, but when it's has to do with death, it's got to be very difficult. You know? And people are chanting, and you know, it's like it's got to be difficult. It's probably the last thing they want to hear is a bunch of chanting while their dad's dead. I know the fans mean well, but they've got to have so much emotion going on. I know Ozzy's probably loving this. Imagine Ozzy just jumped out and said, "I fooled you all, motherfuckers." Oh, God. It's wild, man. You know, you can die from a broken heart, too, you know?
As the family get back into the procession of 6 vehicles following the hearse, let's bring back in Paul Stokes, music journalist, who's here with me. And Paul, I mean, gosh, really emotional watching those scenes, weren't they? They looked absolutely flawed.
It's really sad.
The wave of love that came off the crowd.
Absolutely. I mean, we've sort of known Sharon Osbourne as this sort of smooth operator, this real sort of beast of the music industry. And so to see her sort of wounded like that is, yeah, very moving. But I mean, it was interesting because the crowd, it sort of feels like a cross between an away day, a royal walkabout, and a solemn procession, which is kind of everything that Ozzy Osbourne sort of represents. It's brilliant.
Well, we're talking about the children that came out of the hearse, and they are, all of them, you know, we know them all because of that reality TV show, which is another element to his extraordinary legacy. It sort of created the genre of reality TV, didn't it?
Absolutely. Osbourne's 25 years old this year, and you think,
gosh, I can't believe it's that long.
I know, and it was like everyone in the world was watching it. I remember when we were sort of covering the program, it always was like, can you get Jack on? Can you get Sharon? Can you get Ozzy? Who? When people sort of announced it was going to happen, it was like, who cares? It's like, but the guy used to be Black Sabbath, and it just absolutely not only transformed reality TV, but you know, the reinvigoration around Ozzy as this global icon is absolutely amazing. All by just being himself and swearing a lot and being annoyed at dogs for a lot of the time, it seemed. I mean, it was so true to him.
It also means for those of us who maybe don't know much about Black Sabbath or aren't Black Sabbath fans, we feel a connection with the family because we sort of watched those kids growing up, haven't we?
Absolutely, and it was held by him being himself.
Yes,
There was no like, I've got to pretend to be this amazing rock star, 24/7. He really let his true personality come across in that program. I think that that's why it worked. And then just seeing his children's reaction to having this sort of iconic yet slightly embarrassing dad on camera, it was a really really warm program. It really kind of obviously it made them huge stars, and there were sort of consequences because of that. But there was a real warmth to the Osbournes, and it wasn't sort of reality TV in its sort of more exploitative mode. It was a real sort of window on this sort of unique personality in his family.
We're talking about his personality. You interviewed him about 5 years ago. What was he like?
Oh, it was amazing. Everything you want him to be. I mean, like I say, he was an icon, but he was also incredibly down to earth. It was for Q magazine, and they used to have this back page where you don't have to ask silly questions. And one of them was like, when was the last time you did
Let's see. From New York, he will never be the same. Let's see what the chat got to say. Let's go through the chat.
And the phone line went dead. And I was like, oh my God, I've offended. I didn't know it was possible. I've offended.
I'm going to bring this down. Let's see what's going on with the chat. IP Soldier, what's up, dude? He says, I'm expecting both Ozzy and Hogan to wake up during their funerals. They will lift Hogan's hand up and start doing the Hulk like he did in the ring. One of these. I don't think that's gonna happen. With Ozzy though, man, he was always such a prankster. A little part of me was thinking maybe he'd just jump out, but he was in bad shape, guys. When we seen him during Back to the Beginning, he was really in bad shape. He kept trying to get up. There was that one point where you see him trying to get up. You get so frustrated, and I hated that. I really hated seeing him when he tried to get up, and had so much trouble getting up. Now, are we going to actually get to watch this funeral is the question. It's a little unclear if we are or not. I'm a little unsure what's going on with that. Does anyone have an idea of that? Are cameras going to be allowed in there? Or I assume they will be. I mean, they were for Michael Jackson. What other celebrity musicians passed away that they was at this magnitude? I remember watching Whitney Houston's. Matter of fact, I think we streamed that one too, a little bit of it. Here's another angle. More fans as they move off of the bridge.
Ozzy is a huge part of that, along with obviously.
See people throwing the flowers on the hearse.
Yeah, I heard Rick Wakeman on the radio this morning, and he was talking about that and how it was mainly chords before Ozzy Osbourne came along and Black Sabbath came along, and that it did really sort of pivot the whole genre.
Absolutely, and it made a new genre. Because it was sort of rock music was going one way and had very sort of tradition coming out of blues, and heavy metal, and particularly where it expanded in the 70s and 80s.
It's so sad, man.
It's this complete divergent path from where rock was up to that point, and is effectively a genre in its own right, and a massively, it's a brilliant genre. It's massively huge, but it's kind of genre that, apart from like the Kerrangs of this world, none of music critics like me don't take.
I'm happy that you guys are here watching this with me, though. Thank you so much for watching this with me.
It is a community. People, no one tells you.
Or else I would have been watching this alone.
Absolutely adore it, and I think that's a big part of the album.
Thank you guys for joining me.
They treasure their heroes. No matter how young or old they are. It was really always.
I thought I would have had someone to watch this with. I do. I have the other Ozzy fans, the real diehard Ozzy fans.
We'd be all about the person of the day. Obviously, he was always an icon in that community of music.
Yeah, so cool.
R.I.P. to the legend. I'll never forget you, man.
Absolutely.
I don't know, Dels. I think it'll be private, easier for Shannon to do this. Yeah, probably. They make film and put it out later,
that have been left there, and there's that,
which I respect.
Pictures of the hearse just there, Katie. Flowers on the front of the hearse.
That's what they did, I think, with Lemmy. I think actually Lemmy's funeral, they did have it live.
What does it feel like to be down there on the ground?
what an emotional moment. We journalists are used to sort of being quite hardened in these scenarios, and yeah, I just have to say a lot of
Fred.
people were in absolute tears just watching that. I'm joined now again by Kirsty Bosley from the Birmingham Mail. That was so emotional, wasn't it, Kirsty?
Dreadful, honestly. It was so sad. Sharon is normally so, since she's known as being like this.
Yeah, the brass band was kind of funny to have that. I think Ozzy would have appreciated that.
Family lasted here as long as they could, really. It's only a week since the news of his death broke, so it must be hugely sort of emotional to try and come to terms with it.
Definitely seeing their grandchildren putting down flowers is just really heartbreaking. I think it's just really sad, and I think it takes great strength to show up for the people of Birmingham and let them say goodbye.
And I mean, what a goodbye from the people of Birmingham as well. There's all sorts of people in the crowds have been crying, and flowers were thrown onto the cars.
They did so much. The show 2 weeks ago, and then this now.
Yeah, totally. And
They're really trying to give back to the fans, you know.
Call it the summer of Sabbath, but
So let them have their final goodbye to Ozzy, which is amazing.
You can just tell by the way that people are all joining together and strengthening one another that that's something that like can't die. And Ozzy said that. He said it at Villa Park. He said Birmingham forever, and you know that's how we feel. Birmingham forever.
Been talking to you, and it's such an emotional time as well, but thank you for taking the time. Yeah, look, it's been a real sort of mix of emotions, really. It's been at times as the cars were passing by here, just really, really quiet, but interspersed with people wanting to chant Ozzy's name and make sure that the family can hear that they're here supporting them, as well as being able to say goodbye to Ozzy. I think, as said just then, the family lasted as long as they could, but clearly it's hugely emotional for them. Hugely emotional for the people that are just out on the street today. He is an artist that has meant so much to so many people. We saw this a few years ago with David Bowie as well. I think he's an artist that just he's bigger than the music he made. He meant so much to people around the world, and I think that's what we're seeing today. People have wanted to just find a way to express the emotions that they've been feeling, which is a really rare thing for a celebrity to be that big but have such a sort of emotional and personal connection. A real moment to be here, really.
Absolutely, Katie. And when we think back to all of the tributes that were made to him when he passed away last week, you know, Ronnie Wood, Elton John, Rod Stewart, as well as Birmingham bands like Duran Duran and UB40, he didn't just have a place in the hearts of fans, you know, the
Unbelievable
fans, but real industry-wide respect.
Lot of love in the chat. I love it.
The music that he actually made. I mean, they invented a genre. Black Sabbath did. They paved the way for many of the modern rock bands that we see today. Their influences.
Yes, that's what I wanted to do, Karen, today. It's important.
I was actually talking to just about an hour ago, talking to one of the original roadies for Black Sabbath, who was with them.
We've been working on this since last night.
Ago when they took to the stage. And we were speaking about the fact that the Herculean effort that it took Ozzy Osbourne to get back on the stage, to get fit enough to give fans that final performance. But actually, if you were in the audience, and I was there, lucky enough to have a ticket to that, it was just such a moment. His voice sounded absolutely phenomenal and lasted throughout most of that gig. The effort that it took, I think you could see in his face, it was hugely emotional for him, seeing the reaction from fans. But for fans as well, I think, who got to see that last performance, it was just such a special occasion. And I think, in a way, sort of people had sort of rest on their laurels a bit, thinking that Ozzy seemed fit and well enough to do that, but it obviously must have taken such a lot of energy out of him to give that last performance. But look, a man who will be remembered not just for his music, but for his kindness and for the way in which people have interacted with him over the years. Even if they don't know him, I think people feel like they do know him because of his working class roots and because of the way that he didn't seem to kind of lose sight of who he was. And I think that's why, particularly for the people of Birmingham, he is such a special person, a special artist, and the like of which just we won't see again, particularly for the people of Birmingham. I think he has mattered so much to them over the years.
He certainly has, and that's really, really clear from the really warm scenes that we're seeing from down there. Katie Spencer for us in the heart of Birmingham, very close to the Black Sabbath bench, where we've just seen Ozzy Osbourne's cortege pass through and family members get out and read some of these tributes and lay their own flowers down there before they pass on to what will be a private funeral later on this afternoon.
So it will be a private funeral. It's confirmed.
Studio with us, Paul Stokes, music journalist, and Katie talking about the fact that he never lost his roots. He never forgot who he was, but also he was a man who, my word, he lived the life of a rock star, didn't he? You know, in terms of the life and soul of the party, this was a man who loved to party. He'd sort of won life's lottery. I heard him once say he won this lottery.
Look, he loved to party, but he didn't die of partying. Think about that. He didn't die from partying. He died, you know, natural causes. Same with Lemmy. They partied their ass off. They both didn't die of that, though, right? A lot of rock stars died at a young age off of drugs. These guys didn't. They were built for this shit, right? They were really built for this shit, man. Jesus.
And he was going to spend it, and he just didn't he?
No, absolutely.
It's a miracle he made it to 76.
Well, it's okay. We kind of invented the archetype in a lot of ways in terms of that sort of, you know, hell-raising rock star. I mean, I know, obviously, you have...
Oh, poor Sharon. You know, they said it's going to be a private funeral, but they still may broadcast the funeral. We don't know that if it will be broadcasted or not. I mean, I know it's going to be private where they're not going to allow the people to come, but they may broadcast it. We shall see.
Had his issues with substances, and he was out of Black Sabbath for a bit because of that. And had to have reunion.
So what I will do is,
at the same time,
I will post, if I find out they're broadcasting it, I will post, you know, a heads up that I will go live on my social media. This is my social media right here, guys. DJ Dells. Follow my Instagram. The Instagram down below. Follow my Instagram and view my stories. I will give you guys a heads up. I will update you. I'm not going to leave yet. But I will update you all. And if there is the funeral, I will watch it with you all live. I don't want to watch that alone, you know. I had someone I thought I'd watch it with, but they, you know, I don't think that's happening now. So I'll watch with you guys, with other fans.